On the topic of AI and robotics, are you at risk of losing your job? Are they going to steal your customers if you're running a business? Well, the short answer is they already are. It's not a case of are they. I'm a business owner. I have employees in Indonesia. I used to have something like 20 employees. I cut that down to around, 6 or 7 employees because I use AI and all sorts of software to do the work of what used to be 20 people can now be done with 6 people. So they're already taking away jobs. But will it get to the point where nobody gets a job or most people won't get a job because AI is smarter than you, because robots can work longer hours than you and they don't need a minimum wage? This is the real question. And when you look at what's already available, it's actually quite scary. For me, it's exciting, but I can understand for a lot of people it's scary. When you see a whole army of robotics, humanoid robots, showing up at a factory, sorting between parcels and doing the work of people that used to work in an Amazon factory, they're doing it all. No breaks, no holidays, no protests, no can I get a raise boss? They only run on electricity and on commands, right? And so that looks like a very obvious, yeah, people are gonna lose jobs there, okay? And then you look on the AI side, and just recently China launched, not China, but people from China launched a new AI. It's called Manus AI. It's not out yet for subscription, so I have yet to play around with it, but I'm on the wait list hoping to get a shot. But apparently, from their demos and from testimonials, this AI does something very unique. You can tell it very, very vague instructions. Write me a report on Tesla stocks. Analyze the Tesla stocks. And it'll do a very comprehensive report that used to take analysts weeks to do. And this AI will do it in hours and do it very comprehensively. You could tell it, make me a holiday plan in such and such country. And it's not only going to give you a generic list, it's actually going to do the research, find the hotels, what's the cheapest price or what's the best value deals, where will you go, make the reservations and do all that work and give you the result in the background. So it's basically your secretary, it's basically your personal assistant, it's basically the ideal online PA, VA, virtual assistant, right? So that stuff is already here or coming. And then you look at people like Elon Musk. He changed his profile picture and basically quoted, "Singularity is here," or something along those lines. I don't exactly remember what he said. But basically he's saying that it's already here. The point, what's a singularity? It's the point where machines and AI become more intelligent than human intelligence. So when that threshold is broken, that point is called the singularity, and then robots and AI just become much smarter than humans are, right? According to him, it's already here. So I personally think that yes, a lot of people will lose their jobs or lose their customers to AI, depending on if you're working a job or if you're a business owner. But there are people that are going to be able to navigate this pretty well. And so I think that's the more interesting question to talk about, isn't it? Well, first of all, do I think all jobs are going to disappear? I don't think so. And when I say jobs, I mean jobs in businesses. There are certain, this comes down to jurisdiction and law, and it comes down to the nature of the business as well. When it comes to jurisdiction and law, for example, in Australia, we already have Teslas that can drive themselves. You don't need to hold the steering wheel. You can just sleep through it and it'll take you to where you want to go, right? It's that good already. But in Australia, you still need to hold the steering wheel. Otherwise, it doesn't allow you to do autopilot. Now, why is that? Well, in countries like Australia, you have, laws surrounding liability. If the car hits another car, who's at fault? Who gets sued? Who pays the damages? Well, if it's fully autonomous, you don't touch the steering wheel, then technically Tesla pays the bill. They get in trouble. But because there's that liability issue, they force Australians to have to hold the steering wheel. So that if you crash the car, well, it's your fault. You weren't alert, right? You, the driver. The same thing goes for public transport. If you go to any major city in Australia and you go on a public train or bus, there is always a driver, right? Because somebody has to be held accountable. When you're riding a plane, the plane basically flies itself already, right? You go to any commercial plane, it basically takes you from A to B, very little input from the pilot. But why does there still need to be 2 pilots? Well, because there needs to be a what if scenario. If there's an emergency, somebody has to take the helm, has to take the wheel, right? So in jobs where there is a public liability issue, I still think humans are still needed. In jobs where something like programming as an example, humans are still needed, but far less than there used to be. So you might need 100 programmers to make a software or a platform back in the day before AI. Now you just need what, 2, 3, senior level people that understand what what needs to be done, they can debug it, they can find out where the problems are and prompt again to AI, but 2-3 people can do the work of 100 people because the AI does all the programming and coding. The humans just give it prompts and supervise its work and debug and improve on revisions, right? So that's the obvious ones. The other obvious ones are things that they sell because of the human element of it. So what do I mean? A vulgar example, so excuse the example, it's a bad one, but prostitutes, sex workers, I don't think they're going out of business, right? Because I don't know about you, but I'd rather, if I'm going in that avenue, which I don't, but if I did, I would rather be with a human than a robot, and I think most people are like that. So, people that have or work in businesses where that human connection is the thing that you're buying, right? And I chose that example because it's a very visual one, and yeah, okay, you get it, right? But it doesn't just stay like, it's not confined to just, you gotta open up an OnlyFans account or something, right? Concerts, your favorite K-pop star, you still want to show up and see that, that actress or that singer or that musician or whatever on stage. Community groups. So whether it's, if you're religious, churches and whatnot, or whether it's, a camp, a team leadership thing, a business thing, where what you're buying is that spirit, that motivation, that connection, that experience, right? That still should be, in my opinion, difficult to replace with robots or AI. Okay, so I think now more than ever, it's more and more important to start thinking about how do you future-proof yourself against the rise of AI and robots. And if you've done doing that, the next thing is to go, can I actually profit off of these new technologies and innovations? Well, I'm not talking about, you're Sam Altman and you have ChatGPT under your belt, right? I'm not talking at that level. I'm talking about the everyday person. Is there ways to profit off of AI? And the answer is absolutely there is. I mean, I'm already doing it myself to a limited degree. I'm not the biggest expert on it, but we're already cutting a lot of costs and increasing productivity just by using, ChatGPT, Grok, and other forms of AI in our business to help create content, to help streamline content, to help do the work of 10 editors. Now it can be done with just 2 editors and so forth, right? So we're already seeing that and we're already profiting more because of that, but it's not the only way, right? The other way that I think one could profit from these innovations is to become an investor and owner of these innovations. So investing into humanoid robotics, investing into AI, those should be, I mean, it's just like anything that, when you catch the wave early, there's a big disparity between what it should be worth and what it's currently priced at. And so thinking of those things and exploring those things should see opportunity present itself. But that being said, I don't think it's a net bad thing to have AI. There are going to be some people that argue, well, the globalists, the people that control all the important assets in businesses, now that AI and robots can do everything for them, what's the purpose of more humans? And so there's this, you want to call it a conspiracy theory or you want to call it whatever you want to call it, but are there people that subscribe to the idea that actually, now that AI and robots can replace humans, I think there's going to be steps put in place to cull a lot of humans and depopulate. Now, how true that is and how valid that is, that's up for you to decide and research for yourself. But I personally subscribe to the idea that actually it should be a net positive thing, assuming the right side wins. So what do I mean by that? Yes, a lot of people are going to get their jobs and businesses disrupted, as does any type of massive innovation or technology. When the first cars came out, a lot of horse riders and horse, whatever you call that, horse steerers went out of business. When steam engines and electricity came out, a lot of old-fashioned technology died out, right? So printing press died out when the computers came out. So a lot of, whenever there's new innovation, there's always going to be disruption. And it's really a case of you as an individual should be future-proofing yourself as best as you can. Not that it's going to happen, let's hope for the best but plan for the worst. It's kind of like that. And so for me personally, it just means building skills that AI and robots are going to have a hard time replacing. Skills and relationships. I'm going to add that as well, because I truly think that having the communication skills, the interpersonal skills, the ability to build connection and maintain connection and relationships with people. That should be where a lot of opportunity starts to increase, especially if you think of the fact that, well, a lot of people are going to get very rich through the AI boom. There's also going to be a lot of people that are left confused and what should I do next? Well, on both sides of the spectrum, they're going to want to connect more. The confused people need leaders, and the people that did well because of AI, they want friends and they want experiences that fulfill them. So leadership and fulfillment requirements. That's where I would be thinking. And then in terms of profiting off of AI and robotics, either invest into it and become owners of it, or use it, employ it, and use the technology that's available in your actual business to become more competitive and outperform your competition. I think that's where the majority of your efforts and thought should go to take advantage and or survive and navigate the AI and robotic revolution that's happening right now. Okay? That being said though, we are still super early stage. We don't even know yet what new industries come up as a result of all the stuff that's coming out. We just know that it's a massive disruptor and it is coming, okay? It's not coming, it's already here. So to do nothing and not think about it and not prepare is probably the worst thing you can do. That being said, none of this should be considered financial or investment advice. I'm not telling you to invest in anything. I'm not telling you to buy anything. Just pure personal opinion for education and entertainment purposes. So do your own research, but that's my take on AI and robotics. See you next time.